My name's Elise Freshwater-Blizzard, and I love nature. I live on the doorstep of one of the most beautiful lands in the UK, the Peak District. With some of the most famous caves in the country, let me show you a piece of my life as we travel together deep down under. Hi, and welcome back to Deep Down Under. In today's episode, we're going down the Elden hole, one of the 7 wonders of the Peak District. It doesn't look like much from here, but actually it's amazing because it's 55 metres deep, which makes it the deepest pothole in the Peak District. So this hole is full of mystery and ancient stories that we'll be delving in today. One of them being, before this fence was ever here, people tended to slip in, which is unfortunate to say the least. But we'll be looking more into this today in Deep Down Under. So hats on, lights on, and let's go. This hole was first descended in the 1700s. The name Elden translates to Hole of the Elves, and it was first formed in this way because of the ancient glacial ice that suddenly melted into the limestone. The water seeped into the cracks and whittled it away over time. The immense pressure from the water created this huge chasm in the rock, which is why the ceiling looks like it is completely gone. Because of its nature, over the years, farm animals and sadly humans have slipped into this hole just over time. This hole has been here for thousands of years, and we're lucky enough to go into it safely today. But as a reminder for our audience, never ever go into caves or holes without a trained caver with you. This cave tests your fear of heights. But honestly, I feel like I'm the lucky one. Back then, they used a rope made out of hemp, and men were lowered down into this pit known as the pit of hell because nobody could see the bottom. But today, we get to see the bottom, and we get to use technologies that are going to benefit us quite a lot. Oof, stuck there.
There are several fearsome, well-known tales of later date. One, recorded by Thomas Hobbes, of a man caused to be lowered into the hole. After being let down 200 ells, the man was drawn up, speechless and senseless, and dies before he recovered his wits. A cat, let down to test for carbonic acid gas, is said to have been drawn up dead. Daniel Defoe, who records this experiment, also tells of 2 robbers forcing a traveller to the edge of the gulf so that he stepped at once into eternity. In 1700, John Lloyd had let himself down and has left a clear description. He says it was 62 yards before he touched the bottom. The light, however, which came from above, was sufficient for the reading of any print. He describes the bottom as consisting of 2 parts, one like an oven, the other like the dome of a glass house, communicating with each other by a small arched passage. The chief peril that Lloyd braved was not the devil or the fumes, but that of falling stones from ledges as he was being drawn up, which remains the greatest peril for anyone who ventures in the hole at the present time.
So, we're on the mid-section of this cave right now. We've come halfway through. My cameraman is currently on a slab, and this slab that he's on is basically a collection of boulders that have come down thousands of years ago. So these boulders, they're so beautiful, but we can't have too much weight where my cameraman is. So we've got to go one person at a time through all of this route because we don't want the boulder accidentally collapsing. So basically, what I'm on now is, for me, the scariest drop because I am afraid of heights, so I try not to look down. I will see you at the bottom. So, we finally made it to the bottom of the pit. Now, over the years, this pit has slowly filled up. It actually, by rumour, used to be 100 metres deep, but now it's only 55 metres deep, simply because all of this rubble that sits below me. Over the years, and I'm talking thousands of years, the Romans, the Victorians, all used this hole in the earth as their dumping ground. And why wouldn't you if it's there, I guess? This place also has a beautiful ecosystem of its own. So many frogs are down here. It's kind of beautiful to see them all get along with each other and have its own ecosystem to live in. Likewise, birds are down here, but there's another rumour that birds die here because the hole is so small they don't have enough space to get out, as it were. They don't have enough trajectory. So this hole has been full of death and life at the same time. I think that's so poetically beautiful. So without further ado, let's go to the next part. Yes, there is a next part. There's a next chamber. Let's go. So we finally made it into the main chamber, and you can just see how beautiful this place is. So only a few years back, diggers, literal diggers, people who cave and like to go underground and dig inside the caves came here frequently. But now they're not allowed to anymore since last year. And the reason is that in 2018, just last year, diggers came here to literally push through to find more of the cave. And yet, they found human remains. Yes, just to the left of me, there's a dig where they found human skeletons. Now, that's a really scary thought to first think of, but actually, these skeletons dated back 2,000 years. If you remember at the start, didn't I say that the first person to go down here was noted to be in the 1800s? Well, yes, that's the first time we ever thought that anyone had ever been in this cave. But it turns out these remains contradict that entirely. So actually, this cave gives us more questions than answers, and nobody can really say what the answer is to why these skeletons are here. They're just buried deep in this cave, which is almost impossible to get to. So how was it done? We simply don't know. All we know is that we're no longer allowed to dig here, but we are certainly allowed to come here.
So we're coming to the end of this episode now, but before we go, I just wanted to show you a quick look at the dig. This is it, and you can see all the equipment that's been left behind, the saws to saw away at this structure, holding it together, holding back all the thousands of years worth of rubble. We've got a bit of oil for the machinery. It still slightly works to get out all of the dirt and the rubble and simply shift it somewhere else. But it's almost a shame that they had to stop. So we're going to end this on this note in this episode, and I'll see you next time in Deep Down Under. Thank you for watching.
So we end on the note that this cave holds so many secrets that we might never comprehend, just like many other caves in this country. Over the years, caves have been our shelter. They've been our dumping pits. They've been the sucker of souls, the place of joy and adventure. At one point in time, this place was named after the entrance of hell. You can feel all of that just from being here. I can imagine the old highwaymen and the criminals making their way here to fling any bodies they needed to keep secret and away from society. The sheep that fell in the hole only to be lost forever. And those strange souls that still occupy the main chamber today. I can only imagine what it must have been like to find those remains at the bottom in that dark pit. But that's all we'll know for now. Until next time, this has been Deep Down Under.